right, people, welcome to another episode of Natty News Daily. We've got kind of some different stories to talk about, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. First off, we're going to talk about the gym closures here in Canada. So how long have you guys been able to go to a gym? And quickly tell people where you are in
For
case they don't know.
a while. I mean, I haven't gone back because I have a home gym that's pretty built out, but I think they reopened fully like in like August or so.
August.
Yeah,
Something
I
like
don't even
that.
know.
There was a technical closure around like I think between like Thanksgiving and Christmas time or like November to December, but every gym in the area pretty much just defied that and said we're not doing that. Like quietly, but yeah.
There might
That's
have
just what I've heard. But
So in Delaware, I forget exactly, there might have been like 4 to 6 weeks where they were hard closed. And then after that, it was back like 30% capacity. We never did limited time slots, which I know a lot of states did, but it was like mask on at all times. You can't use the piece of equipment next to you if someone's on it, like that kind of thing. But I've been going for forever. So, yeah.
So for those listening, these two are in the US, I'm in Canada, and Canada has been a shit show when it comes to handling this stuff and the gym closures. So you're seeing on screen right now, this is a post that was just made 5 hours ago from Good Life Fitness. And Good Life is Canada's biggest chain of gyms. And then they have a smaller, I guess like sister company, whatever you want to call it, called Fit for Less. It's more of the affordable style of gyms where it's like $10 a month and all that kind of stuff. So on screen, you can see it says across Canada, fitness clubs in every province have only been allowed to open collectively for a total of 57 days the last 14 months. So 57 days out of, 400 and change days.
And as I pointed out, if you replace pandemic with government, it's way more accurate.
So I just wanted to quickly, chat about this. I know gym owners personally. I've been to a variety of gyms in my, training career, and everybody's been impacted some form or another. They've been open, they've been closed, they've been open with like 10% capacity, social distancing, wear your masks, no change rooms, no showers, time slots, every little rule under the sun. And it's killing. So, Dan, you can field this one because you feel strongly about this kind of stuff. When you read this, what's your first reaction?
Well, exactly what I said. It's been the government, not the pandemic. I mean, when you have benevolent social planners that think they know better than you on how to live your life and give them all this power, this is what happens.
Yeah,
government is incompetent and bad at making decisions for people individually.
So we have right now a 3-step reopening procedure. Okay. So step 1 was implemented, I believe, a week ago, and each phase has to last 21 days without there being like a big insurgence of cases. So as it stands right now, Ontario, I think I last heard, was 200 cases a day. At our worst, I think we were closing in on 4,000. And last year, the rule was once we were sub 1,000, we could reopen. So right now, in stage 1 of this reopening procedure, we're at 200 cases. And I was reading an article basically saying that they have vaccination targets to kind of push forward into the next stage. So right now, this week, we should hit vaccination targets to get us to stage 2. And by next week, we should hit vaccination targets to get us to stage 3, which is where gyms are. And if we stick to the 21-day opening, we shouldn't see gyms until August the earliest. But by their targets, we should see gyms next week. So that's where this post kind of has stemmed from. There's this big what's it called? Well, everybody signs something. What's that called? Petition going around to go to the Ontario government to say, like, if we hit these vaccination requirements, what are we waiting for? And it's we'll see if this goes anywhere. But it's sad, man. It's really sad.
There shouldn't be stipulations like that on freedom, but hey.
Agreed. Yeah, we'll save that for another day. So yeah, I
My-
just wanted to bring that up because you know, we're all
Mhm.
in this in some form or another, and it's just sad to see how much this is, you know.
My big thing with it is name any other industry, name any other business where each one of the clients is actively assisting in cleaning the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
I mean, any one of us, if you're a responsible gym goer, you're cleaning off the stuff when you're done with it. You
Yeah.
can't say the same with a grocery store. You can't say the same with a hardware store or any of those. And they've been open for forever. I mean, the gyms have been cracked down on because, yeah, you sweat, but it's like, okay, that's not transmissible. It's not transmissible via sweat. It's, droplet through your mouth, wear a mask, clean stuff off. Easy, done.
Yep.
It's odd. It's very odd. I'll leave it at that. I'm a little bit more passive and peaceful than Dan about this.
I
But,
hate government. People can make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Go at your own risk. Like,
Yep. Yeah.
if you don't want to risk it, don't go.
yeah.
For sure. All right. Moving on. So we've got some.
Now we know my political leaning. Everyone knows my political leanings.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get banned from YouTube.
We've got some physique updates,
Anyways.
some prep updates. Do you guys know Jack? Do you guys follow Jack at all? Yeah.
Follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been following Jack for quite some time now. So this is his kind of big return to the stage after 2018. Man's looking good. He's carving out quite the niche for him coaching. So I know he puts a lot of his efforts into that, more so than I think he really concerns himself with his own prep, but that does not mean he's not giving it everything he's got, because he clearly is. 11, 12 weeks out. I don't know what shows he's doing. I meant to ask him before we hopped on, but I mean, he's definitely grown a lot.
He's added a lot of size.
It's significant. Yeah, absolutely.
Especially through his legs and his
How long was the off season? Do we have any idea?
If I remember correctly,
been a while since he's last competed.
2018.
I was to say, because I've started following probably 2019, 2020, and he hadn't competed in a while.
Yeah, he looked.
Yeah, so he competed the same year I did.
Yeah, he looked
2018.
way smaller back then. So it's progress has indeed been made. But yeah, like he's give him a shout out too as a coach, because he does. This guy right here just looks insane. He's
that's nasty.
Yeah, he's I watched their video. I think he's like just a couple weeks out, and then this fella here looks pretty freaking good too.
That side chest is crazy.
Dude, look at the delts on the the weak side delt. Like Jesus.
Yeah, there's he's got a lot of talent he's working with right now.
That's a lot of muscle on that frame.
Yeah, which is obviously
there's a lot of talented guys over in the UK, man.
Oh, 100%.
I'd venture to say the UK might be more competitive than the US. Maybe that's wrong, but
I think that the one thing that I think they do well is they don't have a lot of shows. Like, for them to even win the British finals with the UK FBA, like that is a huge deal to win an overall the British finals. Because you have like say you have 6 qualifiers over the course of the show season, and then all those winners are filtering to this one show where it's like, okay, like this is where you stack up. Like AJ, for example, he came second and then the guy that beat him didn't even win the overall. So it's a very competitive. Mitch Jarvis, I think, is his name. I'll see if I can pull him up.
I see. We follow each other. He's stacked.
He's who won.
He's got a beautiful flowing physique too.
Yeah, 2020 overall champ. Like, I mean, you look at that and you're like, holy shit.
Well, less shows and less organizations. They have 2 organizations. How many does the US have? I mean, you lose count. There's so many new ones popping up all the time too.
Yep.
It's like, that's not what we need as a sport. We need to consolidate, but that's never going to happen. So
yeah, you figure they have, like, we'll talk obviously specifically to the natural stream, but you have the UKDFBA, you have now the WMBF UK, you have the DFAC, which is who Keefe's with, and then like I guess they have like the INBA affiliates over there. So like I guess 4. There could be other ones that I don't necessarily know about, but those are the big ones that come to mind. Whereas yeah, over here in the States, you have WNBF, OCB, NGA, INBF, or not INBF, INBA,
IFPA.
IFPA.
USBF.
Yep, USBF.
There's NANBF. I don't know if you said that one.
No.
Yeah, the list
You're
goes
like
on.
6,
List goes on.
Yeah, so it like you said, it kind of just waters it down a little bit. So anyway,
And then there's
over
NPC
there,
runs a natural stream too. They do some
Yeah.
natural shows too. So it's like I know a few people that do those.
yeah.
There's a lot of
So scooting over to AJ, 18
Scooting.
and 21 weeks out. Again, a little bit of glute action going on there.
Some buns.
as we've talked about, he spared no time
No.
transitioning into off season.
Yeah, so he went up to 201, which I think previous offseason he was like early 190s, maybe mid to late 190s, but he got over the 200-pound mark. What's interesting this prep, which he's talked about, he's being a little more aggressive out of the gate. So he's doing like 30 minutes of cardio. I don't know his macros in comparison to what they were before, but he's
Dude, and on top of 10,000 steps, holy hell.
yeah, 30 minutes treadmill at 3 incline every day besides legs, which is his 4th session.
10,000 steps on
And
training
then
days and 12,000.
I mean,
Wow.
he's prepped a lot, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But here's the thing: where do you go from there? Like I get being aggressive, and I've done some dumb aggressive things. Not saying his is dumb, and I'm not saying that. I've done some dumb things, being very aggressive out the gate, and it burned me in the long run. So I'll be interested to see what he does to mitigate some of that.
Yeah.
I know he has a lot more control over his life factors than I did at that stage, so he can do a lot more like fatigue management things.
For sure.
But if you're in a deficit and you're creating your deficit from that much cardio right up the beginning, it's concerning.
Yeah, so he's 201.
I mean, it's probably steady states. It's probably, but still, I don't know. I mean, how many steps can you handle?
Yeah, well, you 10K, 30 minutes, then you go 35 minutes, 40 minutes. You do a couple sessions of 50, a couple sessions at 30. It's got to go up or your food goes down. And I know he likes to keep his food relatively high. So
his his food, I mean, right now it's not obscenely high, like really like 300 carbs. So what do you so 1,200 calories, then another, what's 220 times 4? Another 880. So
I can tell you right now that I would lose, like at those quantities, I would lose weight at 4,000 steps and no added cardio.
See, I've never tracked steps, so that's completely foreign.
I loosely pay attention to them.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, like James said, like he could clearly, he's got a system. He knows what he's doing. He's obviously done well. So it'll be interesting. Like I'm sure for him and a lot of people that are going to follow is like, okay, how is he executing this at 18, 21 weeks out with this pretty aggressive rate of loss right out of the gate. He's pushing it right out the gate. So it'll be cool to see.
Well, he probably also wanted to spend at least some time in a surplus because he didn't have much of an off season. I mean, he got up quickly, spent some time, and was kind of expediting his prep, so to speak, so that he can maximize the time he did have the gain. That's
I will
fine.
say his composition to start is pretty darn fantastic. I mean, he's gonna look really impressive. Another 5-6 pounds. It's gonna start to really take shape.
And I will comment too. The other thing is if you manage your variables really well, like the standard of like 1 pound a week rate of loss, I don't think is really geared towards people who manage their variables really well. If you manage your variables really well, like your sleep, your recovery. You're not dicking around like doing weird stuff and that's conflicting. Like you can lose a lot more than a pound a week, like close to 2, and retain muscle, at least in the early stage. I know I did it. I mean, like I dropped 20 pounds across like 10 weeks, 12 weeks, and
well,
like,
even
similarly
right
strong, like pressing strength, like everything. And it's like it's just, but
Yeah, for myself right now, even like on this little bit of a cleanup, like I think I'm going into week 8 and I'm down almost 14 pounds. So you figure that's around 2 a week, right? We haven't closed out this week yet. So I think I agree with you as well. Like if you are able to control things a little bit, I mean, eventually you're gonna, it's gonna have to slow down.
The muscle loss is
Yeah,
probably gonna happen,
especially
or
when you come
it's
out of
more.
at this, if he's 200, that's
Yeah.
40 and change over previous stage weight. Like you can get that first 10 to 15 off without really.
His body's very apt to shed fat right now.
Yeah. Cool. And we're gonna end this on the if it fits your macros versus meal plan. It's been done to death, but it's been brought up again on social media through a couple people that I follow. I just want to talk about it. You guys are more flexible than me. I'm not against it, but I just wanted to get, I don't know, just have an open conversation about it. Pros and cons, when you use it, when you don't, your rules for yourself. Because I think when I was actually talking to Berto about this today, when people hear if it fits your macros, they jump to the Pop-Tarts, the ice cream, the cookies, and all that kind of stuff. Whereas it's like 80% of your food's probably good quality stuff. That 20% is that flexibility where it's, dinner with your partner, it's meal with the guys that you can fit in. It's, you want something tasty, you've got some carbs left. So, James, you're obviously nodding, so you can touch to that.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing about meal plans. One, there's nothing magical about them. And if you're so hardcore against if it fits your macros and you believe in meal plans, you're probably someone that just doesn't understand how to calculate the macros in the first place. Because what is a meal plan other than a coach assigning foods from a set calorie and macronutrient spread to then give to their client? So it's like the meal plan is if it fits your macros, it's just your coach giving you the food so you don't have to use your brain power to do it. It's so stupid to even have an argument about it. You know what my flexibility is? People think oh, he can't be hardcore, he's flexible. It's like I'm too tired to cook more fresh rice. I'm going to eat 4 rice cakes instead. That's my flexibility. But it's not a freaking meal plan because the calories and the macros equate, so it doesn't matter. Especially if I'm not in peak week or I'm not, down to the bone where sodium and things like that can fluctuate. And you can still match your electrolytes. You can still match your fiber, match the, digestibility or whatever you want to term it with different foods. It does not have to be any set specific type of food. It's ridiculous for people to think that nowadays.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
You're up, Dan. For anybody that follows Dan, you clearly know that he will eat assorted random foods.
my diet is
He's
pretty
like
random.
I'm gonna have salmon with some almonds and 1 Oreo.
I do things like that. With that said, I train in the morning. My first meal pre-workout has been exactly the same, except for exact amounts because my amount of calories total has changed, but it's cream of rice with oats, raspberries, blueberries. It's been the same for over a year now. So it's that's always the same. My post is pretty much always the same. It's rice, meat with some usually some mushrooms or whatever. I like mushrooms. And then a side of fruit. Now I have some potatoes in for satiety, but it's that's my first 2 meals are pretty set in stone, which are around my training, which is a majority of my carbohydrates. And my other meals, it's I pretty much have macro targets for all of them. And it's pretty similar day to day, but I like a variety of foods. And it's when I say that occasionally I do fit in cookies and stuff, but it's for the most part,
I love how you whispered that a little bit. You're cookies and stuff.
I think I had a cookie 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I haven't really had any quote unquote junk food in a while. I guess I been eating protein pancakes once a week, but does that count? I don't know. That's on my off day. But But
They're
like
not hardcore if you're
most of my flexibility is in like my fruits and vegetable choices. Like I like a lot of fruits and vegetables. I like peaches in the summer. I like strawberries are in season now, cherries are in season now. I have a whole house full of freaking fruit. Like
I think
excessive of like the amount of if you look like actually if you looked at my house like or like in through my kitchen like I don't know, like Monday, like a few days ago, you'd be like, yeah, there's like 4 people in here with the amount of fruit that live here with the amount of fruit that's in this house.
I think
No, it's
like
just me.
For me, I like my first coach was like meal plan, and like that's all I knew. Which I think 2015 when I started competing, like that's probably how it was always for most people. But the one thing I will say, like has definitely clouded my judgment and probably a lot of other people is like I was kind of attracted to like the hardcore aspect of like bodybuilding where it's you eat these foods, like you do your training, you do your morning cardio, like you're in the trenches. Like I thought I found that attractive. Like
Structure is not necessarily a bad thing. I think in some of like the quote unquote evidence-based spheres, they've like demonized structure. Like, oh, it's some awful thing that you have to be perfectly flexible and not have anything structured. It's like,
yeah, it goes to the extremes,
like it depends what you want out of bodybuilding. Like if you want to go far, like you got to be pretty structured.
It goes, there's so many different extremes, right? Like James, you and I have talked about this where it's like, people are like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like this is the same time every day, the same thing, blah, blah. It's like, but my life, this thing that I live, like I have things to work on too with my job, my spouse, my kids, my family. I got to walk the dog, like things like that. Maybe I can't, do all these other things but you look at, Brian Whitaker, for example, a lot of top, athletes, Jeff Alberts, they preach the balance side of the sport to an extent, but I think a lot of people just don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
right?
I think
It's
a lot of
it's
people.
not cool. It's not as exciting.
I think some people like give off the impression that they're more hardcore than they are. Like I haven't listened to it yet, but like Dorian Yates, I've heard broke the internet because he said he had a chocolate bar after training, and like you hear Ian Villiers talk about like, oh, if I'll easily just swap rice for potatoes or like this for that, like, and a lot of these, if you look at some of these guys that have like meal plans, it's like they have like, okay, rice, 6 ounces of beef, and then fruit of choice. And it's like, that's choice. That's flexibility. Like if you want to have peaches, like peaches are in season, have peaches. If you want cherries, if you want, like
Dan and his fruit, man.
Get me off the fruit. Fetish. They're all in season, like all starting to come into season now. I do have a bit of a peach fetish. So
I like a good kiwi myself.
There's the soundbite. We found the soundbite.
We found the soundbite.
I'll crop it and edit it and just repeat it after itself.
Yeah, like I think almost everyone has some level of flexibility. It's just like,
whether you label it, it's all what you label it as. I mean, look at all of us. Like Dan said, I've eaten my breakfast is eggs, egg whites right now because I don't train in the morning, so I have 0 carbs. So eggs, egg whites, lunch, chicken and broccoli, second meal, chicken and broccoli. Post training, it's all the same, but it's not the same because it has to be. It's the same because that's what I'd like it to be. It's easy and I don't have to think about it. That's the other thing. The other big argument was like, oh, what about the mental fatigue of trying to calculate exactly? If you've been doing this long enough, I can tell you exactly what the macros are of 8 ounces of chicken cooked, 200 grams of rice, 100 grams of broccoli. Like there's no mental fatigue there. I just click it right on down through my MyFitnessPal or carry it over from what I did the last time. Like the 4 seconds it takes me to do that is probably easier than me trying to figure out what the meal plan should be to hit all those things anyway.
Well, that's like, I can't remember who said it. I don't know if it was Tom or Brightman or whatever, but he was like basically saying that he's like, wind down in the bath the night before, punch all your food in for the next day. He's like, takes you 5 minutes and you're good. Like you're right. The mental fatigue side of it, I think, especially speaking to like our realm, like we all know like, oh, I'm short on protein or, oh, I need some carbs. Well, rice cakes are easy. You know,
Mhm.
they're basically no protein and fat. They're basically just carbs. Or like, oh shit, I need an extra 30 grams protein. Well, Scoop Away would do that pretty easily. Like that stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that right now and I don't feel any more fatigued.
What-
All right, people. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it was a little variety
Like Jake's
package
little
today.
shake.
If you did like it, give it a like, subscribe for more episodes, and we'll see you guys in the next one.